Hey everybody, how you doing? How you doing? I think you can tell that I'm not at home. Marty, Will, thanks for joining. I think you guys can tell that I'm not at home. So, Will, this is your first time joining me on a Fizz Friday. Corey, dude, cuz, I think you know where I'm at, right? So Corey's my cousin. He knows that that's not a dead body under a blue tarp behind me. That's actually just my wood pile. So I'm at my family cottage. So I'm going to turn around very, very briefly. What? There you go. That's my cottage. And yes, this is my setup for today. So now that I've made you all thoroughly seasick, yes. Okay, Jamie's here. Go live with Bourbon Thing. All right. So we're going to wait on Jamie. Drum roll. Somebody do it. Corey, do a drum roll. Okay. Jamie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I had to do this to you because I know how much you love fall, and I know how much you love the outdoors, and you love this scenery. Surprise!
I'm so happy. It makes me feel so cozy right now.
Right?
And I love that you're wearing a toque and you got your Canadian like flannel on.
Right? I know it's not.
You got my vibe.
I know it's not the mitten triple denim, but I think this is about as Canadian as I could be, and this is kind of like channeling my inner Sandy Almeida, you know.
Nailed it.
Right?
Nailed it. I feel like well, and it's so funny because I'm technically like I'm on vacation now, so I'm also going to the woods on Sunday. So
Nice.
Yeah,
Where,
this is a good prep.
where are you going to be?
Halliburton.
Not far from here. So I'm actually about half an hour north of Huntsville.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So nice. Oh my gosh, yeah, we're gonna go see the wolves and stuff. We love
Oh,
those the wolf sanctuary and everything. It'll be so fun. It's like this is the best time of year. Like we are like as far as like weather goes, like a crisp breeze, like it's sort of like, you can wear a nice jacket, you got your flannel, you can always get nice and cozy.
you step
So
outside and
yeah,
somebody's got a
fresh
fire going
air.
somewhere. I can smell a fire.
Ah,
You know, that,
so
that wood smoke and burning leaves. You know, it's our favorite season. Anyway,
I'm so excited.
hey, John, thanks for joining. All right, so we've actually got a really good crew already. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining. For those who don't know, we have with us today one of the most awesome ladies in whiskey, Jamie Johnson. She goes by @BourbonThing. She is the brand ambassador for the Balvenie single malt. So we're going to get to the Balvenie single malt in a minute, but this is Fizz Friday, so we got to start with a Di Serono Fizz. Right? You've got your Di Serono. There we go. Awesome. And I will replace that one when you're done. Don't worry.
Um,
You're ready. See, you're ahead of me.
I'm ready.
So I forgot to give you the recipe. So you need 27 and a half ice cubes. A lot of people are like, really? 27? How do you half ice? What do you do with the other half? I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. And I'm at the cottage, which is fun. So I'm going to put it in a fun glass. So I've got my Di Serono, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. I told you the recipe is, Di Serono, fresh lemon, and sparkling water.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie. All right. I've got my lemon right here, but you know what? Whoop. I'll get that later. Don't worry. I'm actually going to use something.
Bears will.
Sorry? If I
Or
can
the bears will.
if I can find it in the leaves. Monty might. I don't know. Anyway, I'm actually going to use something different today, and I'm going to throw a hook. So I'm actually using something called Masticua Limonada. I know it's a little bit hard to read. So Masticua is a sparkling water infused with Mastica. And if you don't know Mastica, Jamie, you and I can chat about it separately. I did a thing on YouTube back during lockdown about Mastica. What it actually is, real quick, is you know how pine trees get that sticky resin on the outside? Their sap drips down and pine trees get all sticky. The Mastica tree is similar to that. And ancient Greek, so it grows on the island of Helios and a couple of other Greek islands. The ancient Greeks used to use it for chewing gum. It's the original chewing gum. But people make soaps and candles and all and sparkling waters. And there's actually a liqueur you can get at the LCBO called Skinos Mastica for you, I know you love flavors. This is kind of juniper, pine, basil, anise, menthol. It's so delicious.
Whoa.
I've got a bottle for you at home. When I get home from, here, haha,
Paradise.
um, I'll, sorry, I am going to rub this in because I know how much you love this. I'm not going to lie, though. I'm also wearing the toque, not just for Sandy Almeida, but it's like 8 degrees. It's freaking chilly up here. So I've got this Skinos lemonade. So this is a really well-balanced lemonade. I know a lot of commercial lemonades are really sweet. This is not. But you get that mastica, that lemon. It just adds a whole nother dimension. Cheers, my dear.
Cheers. Thanks
Cheers.
for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for taking time for me, especially when you're starting vacation. Not a bad way to start vacation, eh?
No, I was just gonna say, like, I'm having a cocktail with my pal. Like, this is a great way to start vacation.
And other than
Does it
that,
work?
one parking lot bottle swap we did, how many months ago was that? It feels like forever ago.
Oh, it's a really long time ago.
Was that like?
It's so funny. This year has seemed like simultaneously the quickest and like slowest year like ever.
Yes.
Like, it's like I don't know if it's like the days are slow and like the weeks feel like long, but then all of a sudden you're like it's October, and then yeah, it's just been the wildest kind of bizarre year with like I have no sense of time.
Yeah.
I saw a thing today that somebody was like, did we all collectively just like skip Easter? And I was like, I don't even remember what happened that week. Like I
don't even remember when Easter was.
It blew my mind, and everyone below this like thing was like, what? You're right. Like, how did this happen? Like,
Exactly.
what's going on? Like, so anyways, yes, it's been quite the year.
Yes.
I do not remember that. We could have done that bottle swap.
I think it was
5 months ago,
it was after we were furloughed, so I want to say it was like late May, early June.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I just want to give a quick shout out. Our lovely friend Beth Havers has joined us. Hey, Beth.
I saw the wave. Hi.
You saw the wave? Mr. Jonathan Crossan. John, how you doing, buddy? I haven't seen or talked to you in far too long, my good man. You and I need to connect and collaborate on something. Happy Fizz Friday. So this is my Di Serono Fizz. Typically Di Serono, lemon juice, and sparkling soda. Today I'm using a Greek limonada with mastica. You can order this from the Kolonaki group. It's like $25 for a case and this stuff is so crushable. Jamie, don't worry, I've got bottles for you. You're gonna love this stuff. It's fantastic.
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh,
yes.
I'm like probably the only guest you have that like only has 40% battery. I'm like, what?
No.
Was I ready for this?
I actually had both phones charging all day, and then I drove up here, and then I plugged my phones into recharge to make sure that I had enough. All right, so let's get to the reason why we're here, because I'm not going to lie, I've had more people join today, and I'm going to say 95% of them are here for you.
Oh my God.
Like the Whiskey Explorer, let's be honest, who doesn't want to talk to you about whiskey, because you're fantastic. You are. You're absolutely fantastic. And Corey, so I'm up at my family cottage. I know my cousin Corey is watching. Dude, I'll leave the place well. I don't know when you're coming up next, bud. There will be a secret bottle hidden for you in the basement. I will give you directions. It's going to be a treasure hunt. Yes.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, so
I'm going to join this family. This is a family. That's cool.
So my grandfather, great-grandfather built this cottage, and there's actually a picture of me. I'm like not even 2. I'm still in diapers on my mom's lap on the front lawn, and the cottage is up on cinder blocks. And then they raised the cottage. My grandfather was a genius. He raised the cottage, dug and built a basement, poured a pad, put like furnace in, and then dropped everything back on, so it's fully winterized now. Yeah, this place is my haven. I love it up here. It's my this is my happy place. Like Happy Gilmore, go to your happy place.
Yeah.
This is my happy place. So Corey, there's gonna be a hidden bottle in the basement for you. His older brother, my cousin Jason, is gonna be coming up here for his anniversary. So I'm gonna leave them a nice little anniversary bar package because I know they like Ryan Ginger. So I'm gonna leave them some really good Canadian whiskey and some wine and some champagne and blah blah blah. Anyway.
Of course you are.
Sorry to interrupt you, my dear.
No.
it's kind of how this goes. I tend to go off on tangents, and as people join or,
Yes. We're just casual here.
There we go.
Yes.
But yes, let's get to the reason why we're here, because you know what? I'm not going to lie. I've already had a nip or two because, like I said, it's a little nippy out here.
Chilly. Yeah.
Hence my flannels. All right. So the reason that we're here, if you don't already know, for those of you who have joined, Jamie Johnson, Canadian brand ambassador for this beautiful single malt, the Balvenie. And they have multiple expressions available at the LCBO. This is the 12-year double wood. There's a 14-year Caribbean cask, but we're going to talk about this bad boy today. And it's already a part bottle. Now, I'm not going to lie, Jamie. I went and bought a fresh bottle a couple days ago.
Good.
Not realizing that I had left a bottle here when I was here in September. Yes, Corey, you missed it. Haha. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't tell him it was here. Anyway.
That's it right there. That's the stuff. That's the sharing bottle, right? Like, when we talk about whiskey, we always talk about sharing.
Yes.
This is what we do, which is, I guess, why part of the reason why things are so difficult right now in our whiskey community is because we're so used to coming together and being together and sharing grams, and this is just being apart. It's quite difficult for us to have those times. So we do persevere. We do things like this. We do virtual tastings. We do all sorts of stuff to get ourselves sort of back in the whiskey tasting mode. And this is the perfect time of year for it.
Yes.
Like, this is cozy. It warms you up just a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, but
it does.
I mean, the Doublewood 12 is like, that's you can't go wrong, right?
No.
So this is flagship, classic Balvenie. We were one of the very first distilleries to start doing cask finishing, which we like. There you go. This is what I want to see.
There you go.
Yeah. This is, we were one of the first distilleries to do cask finishing. So cask finishing is something that, very much we sort of, take for granted in the industry at this point. We're very used to things being finished in all sorts of casks. But before our malt master, David Stewart, came along, this didn't really happen. So the Doublewood 12 sort of is the current iteration of the very first cask finished whiskey that we put out way back in the 1980s. So sherry cask finish there. So 12 years American oak first. About 6 to 9 months in the sherry cask. Nothing crazy. We're not looking to make it. It's not a sherry bomb. It's a very sort of well balanced. Like, the sherry's in there. It's got that nice sort of like Christmas cakey, like baking spices, like that sort of like cinnamons and nutmegs, and then you've got the the classic American oak. So like caramels and toffees and a little bit of spice and just easy, classic. There's nothing controversial about this whiskey. If anyone's just getting into single malts, like, this is a great way to introduce them to it because it's quite approachable. There's nothing scary about this whiskey. It's just a beautifully made, well balanced, like, hang your hat on it kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? You tell me right now.
This is you know what? You said like Christmas cake and baking spices. I'm like, exactly. And it's not a sherry bomb. So last week, I know I told you that I had Mr. John McPherson on. We talked about the Glenfiddich 14-year bourbon barrel. We talked about the Glendronach 12, which is done in both, the PX and the Oloroso. And it's got a lot more, I don't want to say sweetness, it's got a lot more fruitiness. It's got like dried dates and figs and dark fruit from those sherry notes. This still has a lot of that spice from the American oak. But there is that nice light sherry fruit and nuttiness. And it's one of the things, that I really, really enjoy about this.
Yes, that's exactly like that fruitiness and like nuttiness and like that slight bit of like savoriness that balances the too sweet sort of thing.
Yes.
So I really this one for me is just such a, just a no-brainer. It's easy, it's approachable. And the thing is with a lot of so basically our entire sort of core collection is cask finished. So we've got the two Doublewoods, the 12 and the 17, which are sherry cask, and we're using Oloroso. We're not using an EPX cask, so it's just Oloroso sherry. And then we've got the 14 Caribbean cask, which is my personal fave, which is a rum cask finish, and then we've got the 21, which is a port cask finish. But they're all quite sort of short in the way that they're finished. So they're like 4 to 6 months or 6 to 9 months, depending. So just giving it that sort of extra like little like layer of flavor without being sort of oppressive or anything like that. And
Okay.
because we have a sherry bomb, like we got lots of other sort of, these ones are where you find those sort of like beautifully nuanced sort of layers of flavor.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, this is just a beautiful balance of things. So yeah, it just gives it that extra little oomph and like is perfect for standing in the woods.
Yeah. Kind of like this. Yeah. Not gonna lie. Is that a week of peat I see behind you?
It is, yes.
See, I have a thing for peated whiskeys, so I think I've got that, and there you go. So a week of peat. So is it just finished in peat? Is it actually fully peated?
Yeah, it's fully peated.
Fully
so
peated.
we
Ooh.
did, so we did actually have, we experimented with a cask finishing in peat a while ago. It was like a one-off kind of, it was called the Isla cask, and I think we used Lefroy barrels for it. And then what we started doing in 2000 or 2001 was essentially we started running peated malt because we have our own like malting floors. Like
I've seen you work them. I've seen pictures of you working the malting floor.
Yes.
I think it's the hardest I've ever seen you work. No, I'm just kidding.
Ever.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
No, you're not. You're absolutely right. It was the hardest.
No, I mean,
in my entire, like I'm from Toronto. Like I'm a brand ambassador. Like I had to shovel and like do things. It was hard. So
yeah, but I mean, a lot of people don't know that we spend a lot of our time, in PowerPoint and Excel, and there is actually a lot of stuff that goes on behind our role. People just think, we get paid to go out and talk about booze and drink and buy people cocktails. So when I say that, maybe physically, but no, you are an extremely hard worker. I know you put a lot into what you do, and you know what? I really, really look up to you. And while you were talking, I actually made a whiskey cocktail.
Whoa!
I know, just like
you're like a superhero. Like it's like boom. Okay, tell me what it is. I want to hear all about it, and then we can talk a little bit about Wikipedia.
Well, we're talking about we're talking about Di Serono, and we're talking about the Balvenie.
Yeah.
What do you think I just did? I did a Godfather.
Oh.
Instant Godfather.
Oh, this is exciting.
So I go half an ounce of, and I know the ratios when you look it up online, it's like equal parts. To me, that doesn't do the whiskey justice. Yes, right. I work for Di Serono, but I want a well-balanced cocktail. So I go 3/4 of an ounce of Di Serono to a full ounce of the double wood.
And?
Oh, yeah.
You nailed it.
You get the vanilla, you get the almond from the Di Serono. The vanilla plays well with the baking spices in the Balvenie double wood. It's super well balanced. It could stand an ice cube, but I am an ice cube, so right now I'm just drinking to stay warm. I'm not ready for winter. Great. I still like summer. I like those hot summer days. And there's a fire pit about 30 feet to my left, which I'm about to go set some of my cousin Corey's chairs on fire.
Corey's like, okay.
No, there's some old wooden chairs in the basement that we need to burn. So.
Oh, okay. So it's like an approved thing. Okay.
Yes, it's an approved thing. I'm gonna go burn the chairs and drink some Balvenie in front of a fire, and maybe roast a marshmallow or two.
That's great. And I think that's the thing. We're not here. We're not at winter yet.
No.
We are not. We're not there yet. We've got a lot of season left to be outside. We've got a lot of time to be. And I actually was reading this article that I saw the other day about how people are sort of like going to be coping with, things that are going on in the world and, maybe not being able to be in the same world that we're used to. And there's this sort of thought process in Scandinavia about in Norway about sort of this hygge, getting very cozy, sort of changing your mindset. And the expression that I heard was, there's no bad weather, just bad clothes. So get yourself a nice parka, get some boots, get ready to be outside in the winter because
I've got some flannel, I've got some fleece, I'm good to go.
You're on the way, man. You're there. You're in fall heaven right now.
Get yourself some Balvenie to keep yourself warm from the inside.
Right.
Right?
That's right.
There you go.
And so that makes me think of peat actually for the winter is such a great sort of pairing because you've got those like campfires, and when you're talking about peated whiskey, that's exactly what you're talking about. You're talking
Yes.
about the sort of like campfire, smoky kind of phenolic notes. So we actually do a run of peated malts every year at our distillery. So it's for like 1 week right before we shut down for the summer and like clean out our system, we do a run of peated malt. And so that's why it's called the Week of Peat, because it's a week, literally a week of our year where we sort of create this whiskey. And it's, you know, nice and high in ABV. It's like 48.3% ABV. It's like aged exclusively in American oak. Yeah. And the nice thing about it is it's kind of like, it's not super high in like phenols. So like when you talk about like peated whiskeys and like phenol sort of parts per million, it's quite low. It's like around 5.
Oh wow! So it's not like it's not one of like the Octomores or even like the Lagavulin 16 that's going to be like you know
it's not,
in your face.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different character because it's still a Speyside, like it's a Highland peat. So when we're using peat sourced from like the Highlands, so it's not going to be sort of as intense as the Isla one. So it's just kind of like if you're just getting into peated whiskeys, or if you just want like sort of this essence of smoke or anything like that, it's still quite sweet. Like there's nice honey and a little bit of smoke. It's lovely.
So I hate to make the comparison, but would you say then that's closer to like a Highland Park, which is more like the Orkney peat, which is going to be a lot drier and more floral?
So yeah, I would say
or
like,
sort of,
and
like
I'm a big fan of it's definitely like. So
I know we're talking about other brands, but you know, just for the Scotch drinkers out there that are watching.
Yeah. For comparison, I think that like ours is slightly sweeter, so we don't. We have like more of like a honeyed sweetness and like a toffeed sweetness. And just a bit almost like it's not quite dry. It's a little bit creamier. And like the essence of the smoke. Like for me, when I think about some of like the Highland Park, it's kind of like it's a really nice round sort of like smoke.
Well, they are a lot further north than you, so you know.
Yeah, and this one's like a little bit more like it's apparent on the nose. It's slightly less on the palate, and then it kind of just dissipates. So if you're it's not gonna ruin like your day the next day if you end up drinking a little bit more than you're supposed to because you've got this like mouthful of smoke. Like it's quite easy and approachable in terms of smokiness. You can sort of like you can have one and move on to something else. You won't you're not going to be committed to the peat for the rest of the night. So it's nice in that sort of way. But I mean, listen, I love big like peaty crazy whiskeys. Like
as do I.
Take a look in this cabinet here. Like there's a bunch of them in there. So and I because I really like intense whiskeys. I really get that, but this is definitely like I just want something a little more sort of easygoing in terms of smokiness, and I just want something little sweet, little peat, a little cheeky, like just kind of So
nice.
I love it, and it's at the LCBO as well right now. So I think it was e-com only for a little while, but we're gonna start seeing it popping up in actual like brick and mortar stores soon. So keep an eye out for that.
Nice. I will. I have one other question because I found a bottle, another expression of the Balvenie, and I would spell it divorce because of the price tag on it.
Right.
It's the 1509.
Oh. Yes.
And I don't know if I haven't seen, and I've seen a bunch of people join us. So Brian, thanks for joining us. One of my other Di Serono brand ambassadors from overseas has joined us. There's a bunch of people on. I haven't seen if John McPherson joined us. He and I are also, so if you're free on sometime this week, John and I are having lunch at Weber's, because I'm north of Weber's, he's south of Weber's. We're going to meet in the middle. So if you want to come for lunch at Weber's, if your schedule's free, we can talk about that later. Sorry?
Yeah. Oh my God, I haven't been to Weber's I'm lying. I went last year. Around this time last year, actually.
Well, there you go.
It's the first time I've been in a while.
It's like,
and the line wasn't crazy long.
There you go. Nice. They're doing really good things with social distancing. They got pylons. They're actually taking debit now, because they used to be cash only. They're actually doing debit, so you can do touchless contact. They've got plastic tarps everywhere. It's fantastic.
Wow.
Yes. Really, really cool. So if your schedule's free, you, John, and I should do lunch this week at Weber's on me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh. Can't say no to that.
Right?
Free burger and fries and a milkshake.
There you go. And maybe go home with a bottle of something.
Yeah.
We can do like a
Okay, I got it.
real
I got
kind of
it.
like
Okay,
all kinds of bottle swap. So thank you for that education. This double wood is just that's what's keeping the conversation going. I'm not gonna lie.
It's so perfect. I'm so happy you're enjoying it. It's
It
just like a
is
stunner of a whiskey. Yeah, just lovely stuff.
fantastic, and I know that I've offended at least 3 viewers by saying Scotch cocktail, because a lot of people
Oh,
have a problem with Scotch and cocktails. They're purists. They say you should never mix it. Maybe a few drops of water, and then I've been through all that, and I've put YouTube videos up about that. And I'm not gonna lie, I got turned on to something because of you sitting at a bar one day. Portland Variety.
happened.
So
Yes.
not long after I took on the role, I went into Portland Variety. I was having a couple of cocktails, and I talked to the bartender, and I wanted an espresso martini. And he's like, yeah, Jamie does it with the double wood in it. And I'm like, do it. And I did it, and it was fantastic. And I'm not going to lie, I actually brewed up some espresso, which is actually in the fridge in the inside. And I was going to do an espresso martini, but A, it's 6 o'clock, and do I really need a shot of espresso? Really? Do I look like I need espresso? And B, I thought I had left a bottle of Tia Maria up here from my last visit, and I did not.
Oh no. Oh.
So I could not do the Tia Maria Balvenie espresso martini. So I think everybody that's watching knows I'm going to run to the LCBO in Huntsville first thing in the morning, grab some Tia Maria. I've already got the Balvenie. So you guys this weekend will see the Di Serono and Tia Maria and Balvenie, all 3-in-1 espresso martini. But as for whiskey cocktails, I am going to leave you with one last treat.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, I love a bourbon.
I know really? You? Now,
Bourbon
if you look at it, it seems a little bit dark, and that's not just because I'm in front of it, because I'm about as pale as can be. No. This is actually just what's left of a pre-batched cocktail. So I did some pre-batching of cocktails earlier this week. I have a decanter, and I'll send you the image later. This is an Old Forester and Tia Maria Boulevardier.
I love a Boulevardier, and actually, I did an event once where we did an intro cocktail, and it was a Boulevardier made with Doublewood 12, and we called it a Balvardier because we're so clever.
I have a bottle of Campari inside. That's gonna happen. All right, that's gonna happen.
I think you make a really good point in that people get really intense about Scotch cocktails, and I think we're starting to get into the vibe where people are a little bit more accepting of it.
Yes.
Because I think it's fun. I mean, I think we're letting the guard down a little bit with single malts, and we're saying okay, maybe we can just sort of let things be a little more cheeky and fun. And that's not to say that you shouldn't enjoy it on its own or however you want.
Absolutely.
To, but I think actually ultimately at the end of the day, you should just have it however you want. So if you want to put it in a cheeky cocktail, it's your whiskey, you can do whatever you want with it.
Right.
So I'm all for it. So get on that single malt cocktail train as far as I'm concerned.
There you go.
I've seen some so special cocktails made with.
Right.
If you want a really great cocktail, you can use really great ingredients. So
there you go.
I mean,
that's what makes the best cocktail, a great ingredient.
Totally.
Yes.
So I'm all for it. I'm happy. I would never. Somebody put a bunch of ice in their whiskey, I'd be like, you know what, you do you.
Yeah.
If they cut it to you do whatever. Yeah.
It's not on us to judge, right? Your palate is your palate. Some people like Pinot Grigio.
Exactly.
Some like a Chardonnay. Some like Merlot. Some like a
100%.
15-year-old Barolo.
Totally. And context, right? It's context.
Exactly.
What you're going to drink out in the forest there is different than what I'm going to drink in my downtown apartment right now. So I think that's really important to note too. I drink, whiskey neat sometimes, and sometimes I put rice cube in there, and sometimes I put it in a cocktail, and sometimes I do all sorts of stuff. So, I think
awesome.
It's totally context what you want, and you're,
mm-hmm.
do whatever you want. I think it's just great.
Awesome. So I have a special gift coming for you, some pre-batched Boulevardier. So you and I need to meet up next week at
Weber's.
When I'm back, or at Weber's. Yes, we'll talk offline. We'll take this offline to use the buzz phrase.
Of course.
This is kind of like a Terry's chocolate orange.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
The
take the Old
bacon
Forester
rich,
with the
like,
vanilla and the baking spices, and then
yeah.
you add the Campari for the balance and that orange note, and then you add the Tia Maria, and the Tia Maria sort of loses the coffee and becomes more chocolatey, which is really kind of cool. And that's where you get the Terry's Chocolate Orange. So this is like a
I
bitter
love
Terry's
that.
Chocolate Orange. It's the
Oh,
ultimate
I love
cocktail
that.
for this time of year. I'm gonna try it tomorrow with the Balvenie after I get a fresh bottle of Tia Maria. Jimmy, I want to thank you so much
Oh,
for
thanks for
taking time
having
out.
me. This is so much fun. It's just a chat with a pal in the forest, you know, as you do on a Friday. This is
There
so
you go.
wonderful. It's been so nice. I'm so excited to see you.
Likewise.
At Weber's.
Absolutely. And please, you know what? Make the drive. We'll make it worth your while. You'll get there's going to be like a really healthy care package coming your way. Because last time we did a bottle swap, you were far too generous with the glassware and the book, and you know, you were such a darling. I felt really bad. I'm like, I even like packaged this like a guy. You know, come on.
Oh my gosh. No, it was so nice. I mean, like, here's the thing is, like, we love to share, and I
Yes.
have all this, like, you know, I had this, like, glassware, and I have these really lovely books that we put together for, like, the Balvenie Stories collection.
Yes.
And I have a couple, like, kicking around, and, like, you know, when we were going into lockdown, like, the first time, or, you know, like, why not have a book that you can sort of curl up with and read and enjoy and just sort of, like, have a moment with? So
it's a fantastic read.
It's a great read.
It's a fantastic
you can even
read.
buy it off Amazon if you want. Like it's a great book. So no, I'm just glad you liked it. I'm happy to, and I really enjoyed this cocktail.
It was so sweet.
Like, this has been like such a lovely, like, little refreshing. Like, it's perfect just to like wind down the end of the day and then get ready for.
And it's still kind of gives you like hope that summer's gonna linger and we're gonna have a little bit more of those warm days, and you know.
Yeah, it's so great, but it's also a nice transition. Like, there's still enough of that sort of like almondy, sort of like savoriness that's just underneath that you're like, okay, like, this is still like a really neat, like, I've never had this before. I love it.
Awesome. Well, if you like that almondiness, Di Serono Velvet is on the way.
Oh, wow.
Velvet. Cream liqueur.
Oh.
It's been accepted by the LCBO. Hasn't gone through the lab testing and all that rigmarole politics that they do yet. But one of our lovely friends out west got into Container World and is sending us 3 cases.
Oh my goodness.
So as soon as I get one of those beautiful white bottles in my hot little hand, you're going to be at the top of the list to know, and we'll do a little tasting because it's not just Di Serono and cream. It's got that Di Serono almond marzipan essence, but there's cacao, there's vanilla, there's lightness. I got to taste literally. So we had a meeting back in February at the head office. I got to taste literally like a thimble was all I got. Like they brought a half a bottle from Italy for like 9 of us. So I got a thimble to try. And this was the best cream liqueur I've ever had.
Oh, that's so great. Okay, well, I'm very excited about this. So I think then the theme of our next Fizz Friday, which, you know, whatever we're calling it in the winter months, should be that.
Yes.
And then I'll make sure that we get you some we could peat. And then we can get nice and like cozy.
We'll swap.
You can be at your cottage by the fire if you want. Like, what, you know what I mean?
Hey, so the place sleeps 10. Bring your man and Mr. Atticus.
Oh my God, my dog.
Oh my God, I think your dog and Monty would be like,
best friends. Oh yeah, best friends.
They would.
Sure.
I gotta admit, your dog is probably like the second cutest dog I've seen on Instagram.
He's really cute.
I gotta be partial to mine. I'm sorry.
I know. Oh well, of course.
But like,
I'd be weird if you're like, your dog's cuter than mine. So like, yes, but it's
Monty's
like
face. But like between it's like, okay, he posts, you post. It's like, I don't know. They're so cute, but they would have best friends. There's lots of room to run around out here. But yes,
amazing.
Would love to have you up here, drinking whiskey, enjoying the fires.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yes, awesome. All right, thank you. I will let you get back to the rest of your evening. Enjoy your vacation, my dear. It's been fantastic chatting with you.
Thank you for having me.
And to everybody who joined, I know I saw a lot of names scrolling by. Thank you for joining, everybody. If you have questions, reach out to either Jamie at Bourbon Thing or myself, Aaron, A-A-R-O-N. Yes, that's right, Aaron. M_BA. So Aaron M_BA. You can reach out to either one of us for questions, talk about product, talk about cocktail recipes. Everybody, thank you so much. Jamie, you know what? One last toast. I'm just going to pour one last quick small because I have to go in and make dinner now.
Yeah, you are.
So you know what? Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Jamie. Thank you so much. This has
Cheers.
been the
Thank
best.
you. So fun.
Cheers.
So fun.
And
So
if you're
fun.
interested,
Thanks for having me. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. And next week, everybody, I've got Stan the Vodka Man. We're going to be talking Polish vodka.
Yes.
That's right.
Awesome.
Now, today is World Vodka Day.
Love Stan.
Today is World Vodka Day, so I'm going to give Stan a shout out. Stan represents Wybrowa and Luksusowa, 2 Polish vodkas, 1 potato, 1 rye. We're going to be here next Friday, not here, or will we? You have to tune in to find out. Thanks so much, everybody. Jamie, take care. Have a great weekend, and give Mr. Atticus
Bye.
a hug.
Thanks again. I will. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Happy Friday.